Good morning again, Water Girl crew. It's December 17th, and here I am to open another special package for you today from the Water Girl Quilt Co. Quilters Advent Box. The elves sure did have fun putting it together. Did you have fun playing with scraps yesterday, making a postcard? Well, let's see what we've gotten here for number 17. Oh, it's very hard. I wonder if it's that peppermint bark. Oh, I like that. Let's just see. Okay, hold on. Hold on. No, I think it's a little tougher than peppermint bark. What have we got for the quilters today? Oh, Sew Standard Seam Guide 4-in-1 tool from It's Sew Emma. A 4-in-1 tool? What do we do with this? Well, it has something to do with those 1/4-inch seam allowances that us quilters love to sew. Don't you love a good 1/4-inch seam allowance? Alrighty, so the word of the day is quarter, by the way. Fill it in on your bingo card, quarter. Alrighty, so this is pretty cool because there's a lot of things on this ruler. So it has a great little visual on the back to show you the 4 things you can do with this ruler. So first off, well, you can just use it for measuring. It's 2.5 inches wide and it's 5.5 inches long. So if you keep this by your sewing machine and you have quick little measurements you need to do, this is great for it. But it's a lot different than that ruler we gave you on day 1 because this one is way more than a ruler. It's also a seam guide. So number 2 use for it is determining where to set your stitch and your needle, where to position your needle to get an accurate seam allowance. So it's got these little holes in here and they start at a 1/8 seam allowance. That's a handy one to have because when I make all my Biani bags, she always instructs us to do a stay stitching to base things in place, and it's a 1/8 seam allowance. So that could be very useful. 1/4 inch, 3/8, all the way up to a 2-inch seam allowance. So how do you use this? Well, there's some great videos on it if you want to go and check out the It's Sew Emma video for it. But essentially, I lay this down right over my feed dogs. And let's say I need to do a 3/8 seam allowance because I'm making some clothing or a bag and they've asked me to do a wider seam allowance. I put my needle through that hole. I lower my presser foot, and wherever this edge is, that's my 3/8 seam allowance. So maybe you want to put a little painter's tape down on your machine and now you have a marker. This is really great if you sew on multiple sewing machines, even sewing machines of the same brand. Even with the same presser foot, it's good to just check it as if you are doing a project and sewing it on more than one machine at a time. So that's the second use for it. The third use has to do with that word of the day, quarter. There it is again, crew, 1/4 inch. When you are making binding, we stop a 1/4 inch from the edge because we're sewing along. I'm sewing and then I'm going to need to pivot to go around. So this is really cool because before I start sewing, I line this up with the 2 corners of my quilt. I can take my marking and I can put that kind of cross in there on the corner of my quilt. And that's my guideline for where to stop stitching. And then I flip and do that 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock to miter my corner. And then I put my needle back in and start sewing. So this is great for marking that onto the fabric. And then lastly, number 3, because we're encouraging to use your scraps, if you want to make scrappy little half square triangles, or if you want to use this to cut the end off of your binding strips for joining them at the 45-degree angle, that's what this line is here for. And because it's a 2.5 inch, great use for cutting those 45-degree angles on the corner of your binding strips with a nice little ruler that's easy to hold on to. So this is the 4-in-1 tool from Sew Steady. It's the Sew Standard Seam Guide. Enjoy using this in 4 different ways. And remember, your bingo word of the day today is quarter. And I'll see you back here tomorrow, the 18th of December. And I have a project for you. It's going to be fun. Until tomorrow, crew, happy holidays and do something that makes you smile.